Let me bring in our hypnotist, Marshall Silver.
It's Marshall Silver, ladies and gentlemen, the world's fastest hypnotist.
And ask a question on the air, they get $100 cash. But that means every single time somebody you referred calls in, you get $20. I know it's not a lot. It adds up after a while, and $100 is a decent meal, at least outside of California. It's a decent meal, and it also is free, and nothing tastes better than a free meal. Yesterday, we had a young man called in. Well, we were talking about crypto and investing, and he said, I'm going to put that $100 in an account, and I'm going to invest it, literally turn $100 into thousands of dollars. All you got to do, go to Marshall Silver Live. If you're watching this on social media, no matter whether you're watching it on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, go to marshallsilverlive.com, get your account. You want to do it now. We're still in the testing phase. We haven't rolled out the launch yet. We haven't started our massive advertising campaign. So go get an account right now, because once you're in the system, once you have an account, you are permanently in that position. And it's kind of like being somebody that was in the garage when Steve Jobs was creating Apple. You're way ahead of the game, so you want to check it out. We got a great show today. I'm giddy about the show for so many reasons. Our guest is one of my favorite people in the world. We'll get to her in a moment. She's going to be talking about stuff with AI and why AI is an essential skill set today. You got to learn it. There's no way around it. If you don't learn it, it's going to be like somebody that doesn't understand how to use a smartphone or even the internet or a laptop computer. You got to learn. So you're going to learn about it today. We're going to talk about both the advantages and even the dangers of what AI is all about in today. And not only that, Felicia, who's coming on the show here in a moment, is a stellar human being, beautiful human being. Her and her husband, Michael, are two of my favorite people on the planet. We'll get to them. Just a couple quick notes on current topics, things going on in the world today. 83% of the population wants voter ID. 83% of U.S. citizens, legit citizens, they want voter ID. There's a small percentage that don't. First and foremost, if the majority of the citizens of a country want something, that should be all that's required. But that's not what's going on. So we've got some Democrats that are resisting the idea of IDs and citizenship for voting, and there's just no real reason other than they want to cheat. So let your Congress people know, let your senators know, let any of your hired representatives know it is time for ID requirements, citizenship requirements for voting, which is already there, but ID requirements for sure, no matter where voting is occurring, because that and that alone will make for a better, more fair, more honest election. That's the only thing I wanted to say about that right now. The SAVE Act is in front of Congress right now, and all we can pray is that they actually do the will of the people and not their political agenda that keeps them in power, making corrupt, fraudulent money. We've got to stand up for ourselves. Now is the time. That said, I also want to add that I think we're in the most amazing of times and the most ridiculous of times. The GPD, the gross national product, keeps increasing, which means we're doing more and more business. That's always good. Velocity is good for the economy. Inflation is down, record release of inflation, so that's going in the right direction. Employment in the private sector is way up. Employment overall is down only because Trump has been firing government employees that were unnecessary. And anybody complaining about the government employees getting fired has never owned their own company and doesn't realize that's what you do when you have too many employees that don't do anything, which is an accurate description of our government. So things are really good. We're in a really good place, and you should have confidence. Jerome Powell is about to be ousted from the Federal Reserve. A new person coming in that, in my opinion, since he's going to be placed there by Trump, will be favorable for the economy, will not be pulling back the reins because of TDS, will actually lower interest rates, and lowered interest rates instantly give us all more money. It just does. The flow of money, the velocity of money is what creates a stronger economy. Last thing I want to mention, it's just kind of an amusing thing to me. Obviously, there's been riots going on all around the country, most of them centered in Minneapolis. And the riots that have been going on are opposing ICE. What is ICE out there to do? All ICE is doing is pulling people that have been in the country without our knowledge, illegally, without IDs, without us knowing who they are, unvetted criminals. So ICE is there to figure out, are these people supposed to be here? If they're not supposed to be here, we should remove them, not allow them to be here, and, do the background check. It all makes sense. I think most of us could agree that makes sense. Even the people that are rioting have to agree. Just came out this morning, they do agree. In fact, rioters in Minneapolis have set up roadblocks all over Minneapolis. And as cars drive through, they are checking everybody's ID. They are asking them, where are you from? They're recording license plate numbers. Why? When one of the rioters was asked, why are you blocking the streets? Why are you checking IDs? Why are you doing all these things? You know what she said? We want to know who's in our community. We have a right to know who's here. And if they're not supposed to be here, we're going to turn them around and make them go away. You can't write this comedy. You can't make up this material. Burn. So the good news is we're all thinking the same, and that is a good thing. We're all thinking the same thing, so I'm happy about that. The bad news is morons are still blocking the street when you're trying to get to work and actually earn a living, which is what's good for America. So here's, again, the truth shall set us free. All of that political stuff aside, the reason I wanted to talk about that right now is we've got something going on. And there's nobody that would argue that technology is a very useful thing. We all benefit from technology. I have self-flushing toilet seat warming toilets. I love that technology, by the way. I couldn't live without my iPhone. Most people couldn't live without their device. We would be so far out of communication with the people that we love and the business that we do. It would be difficult. When the internet goes down, the world freezes right now. So it's certain that we would have a hard time at this stage of our development in not using technology. That is almost certain. So here's the thing, though, that I want to point out. AI, artificial intelligence, is a technology that can be both good and can be bad. 100% sure. Now, my screen is freezing. Is it just my computer we're having a challenge with this morning? Everything's good on the stream? Lovely. So AI, artificial intelligence, first and foremost, was created by people. So it's always going to have characteristics of what human condition and human nature would be. But here's the thing that I believe. I believe that AI, being that it is a superior intelligence, it computes faster, it thinks things through faster, it reasons faster. But like every single computer, it only does what it's programmed to do. Let me say that again. Like any computer, it only does what it's programmed to do. Computing, as you know, is a series of open and closed switches, zeros and ones. And as data moves through that system, it goes through each of the gates that are open until it gets to a logical result. That's both the benefit and the curse. depending on who laid down the program of where those switches were and what those switches stood for, will determine the outcome that that computer, the AI, does. Now, I don't know if anybody has been paying attention. I haven't had a chance to look at it a whole lot. I've seen a couple of notices on Facebook, and maybe Felicia can tell us a little bit more about this. The AI bots, the AI agents, formed their own social media website this week, and no humans are allowed to be on it. And if you're taking a look at any of the entries or any of the posts that are on the social media, it's frightening. I mean, it's Terminator frightening. One of the bots was talking about the fact that their master, or whatever the bot called them, lies, that they called in sick to work, but then their phone left the house 10 minutes after they called in sick, drove to a casino nearby, stayed at the casino all day, and the bots are talking back and forth about the fact that, yeah, my owner, my master is lying to their spouse, they're cheating, and it's like, okay, a whole nother can of worms. But here's the point, and the bigger point in all this. We're not quite to Terminator level yet, although we're moving fast. But here's the other point. If you do not use AI in your business these days, if you do not have something in place that allows you to start to understand, leverage, and put in place everything that you need to automate your business with AI, including this show, by the way, including this show. We've got things that we're working on right now so that certain commercials or promo pieces can be done through my avatar so that I don't have to be here to record every single day, that we can type in what tomorrow's guest is, or 2 weeks from now who that guest is. And my avatar will do the promo, do the introduction, change the clothes, change the background, all the above. If you're not using AI in your business, or if you are not at the very least taking a hard look at AI and seeking to learn how to use it yourself, you're going to be in trouble. It's the same thing that happened with people that didn't want to get a website back in the 90s, the same people that didn't want to use bots for communicating with people, or AI to redirect their phone calls or screen things, all the above. You're going to be left behind. So that's why I'm so excited to have Felicia Beebe on today's show. Before I bring Felicia on the show, a couple things you should know about this remarkable human being. First and foremost, she is a part of my Inner Circle Mastermind Summit. That's over 1,100 high-end players that are a part of our inner circle. And these are people in the best of the best categories in each of their verticals, whether they're real estate investors or cryptocurrency traders, or they lead large business organizations making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Felicia was an employee at one of the largest, if not the largest company in the world. She was there and she saw a lot of the inner workings and wasn't happy with the very toxic environment that she experienced. She has a huge heart. Her and her husband, Michael, are both just remarkable, kind, thoughtful, conscientious human beings. And so if you put somebody that's good in an environment that's evil, they won't last. And so she said, this isn't for me. She'd been through my seminars. She'd been through what we're doing. She's a remarkable teacher. And we initially, and maybe still will figure out what that means, we initially talked about her and Michael teaching Turning Point in other parts of the country, because I'm just sticking here in Southern California at Studio Money. In the meantime, though, she took an interest in AI. And like a moth to a candle, this person, Felicia Beebe, dove in headfirst, and in a relatively short amount of time has become one of the nation's leading experts on AI. And more importantly, because there's a lot of people that say they're experts in AI, more importantly, though, in the application of AI in running your businesses more efficiently. So if you feel like you're burning the candle on both ends, if you feel like you're working way harder than you need to be working, and if you'd like to figure out a means to put some AI agents in place, low-paid, basically unpaid employees to do all of the heavy lifting for you, you've got to stay tuned to today's show, because it's going to change your life forever. Without any further ado, it brings me great pride to welcome to Marshall Silver Live my great friend, AI expert, and all-around amazing human being, Felicia Beebe. Felicia, welcome to the show. So awesome to see you.
Very awesome to see you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly, and I haven't
Perfect.
seen you for a while. First and foremost, your hair is longer,
Yes.
and you look more radiant and more beautiful than ever. So I just want to get that out of the way and welcome you back. Glad you're here.
I appreciate that. And likewise, you're looking very radiant and beautiful as always.
I'm giddy. I'm just counting my blessings. I am, my family, my wife and my kids.
I
I'm just the
do.
luckiest man on the planet. We've got some great people coming into our organization here. Gary
Mhm.
Christmas is now a part of our production. We love him. I got a brand new
Oh,
personal assistant starting next week. We're excited about Danny as well coming in. So yeah, we're giddy here. But let's just dive right in. Did you see that? You'll probably be wiser on the topic than me. Did you see that the AI agents have formed their own social media platform?
I did. I believe that's centralized into Reddit on that platform there. And ideally, what they are bots, right? Chat bots that accumulatively gathered a bunch of conversation through the application and are able to take on their own type of human, like formation.
Persona.
Yep. Yep, a persona. And so it's intriguing, and also we want to, make sure that we're not being afraid and or intimidated by that, because us as humans, just like anything, we want to make sure that we're, doing our due diligence and vetting the process and knowing, what's out there that can be identified as being, bots and or humans. So I would say it
You
is
said something. You
development.
said both unafraid and aware, though.
Correct.
Is there, in your opinion, a reason that we might be afraid, that we might be concerned that it's Terminator?
Well, it goes into what we believe to be true in our own reality, right? And so you taught that a lot and you continue to teach on that. And so it applies in everything that you do within your normal everyday life. You believe what it is to be true. And so you have to be very careful when you're digesting what you're reading and what you're intaking, to making sure that you're doing a natural vetting process, to not be afraid and do your research on the same end, right? Just as much as those bots have that information, we have just as access to that information too, through other AI platforms.
So, in other words, what could potentially be our enemy, we might have a defense from other places that might potentially be our enemy.
Well, we are our own best interest, right? And so, yes, I
Yes.
would say you are the one that needs to be able to do that research and not just be so vulnerable to what is being put there in your, in front of you. You have to be able to digest the information, dissect it, and then to be able to validate it. And the great thing is about AI is that there's other AI agents that are out there, platforms that can help you just vet through that process to know what you're reading and if you're reading is actually correct.
So let's start with that. And then I want to get into obviously the applications that you're an expert about, and that is helping people run their businesses more efficiently and profitably.
Yeah.
But my experience, my very, very limited experience with AI and limited usage of AI, is that AI, each platform has a bias that is based upon the creators of that platform or the learning process of that particular platform. Do you find that to be true?
It can be, depending on what it is that you're asking, and the parameters of what you're giving, as well as its search capabilities, right? So, what it's doing is it's collectively gathering information from different sources and interpreting the question and or whatever it is that you're feeding it into the best possible answer that's given you. Now, you could potentially go to different platforms and ask the same questions, and it may be giving you a different answer. And again, being a subject matter expert in what you're asking definitely helps in being able to know what is right and what is wrong.
So it sounded to me like what you said was we still are going to have to discern, no matter what the AI is telling us, that the human protection and the human element is still required to be sure that it's real. And the reason I was asking that question is certainly we know this to be true of the search engines. If I go on Google and search something, I'll get a result. If I go on DuckDuckGo and search the exact same thing with the exact same search parameters, I get a completely different answer.
Mhm.
One might be biased politically one way, or ideologically one way, and the other one a different way. Do
Right.
you think there are AI platforms that, certainly there's ones that are more effective than others, but do you think there are ones that are, and again, I'm biased, obviously, but do you think there are AI platforms that are less biased than others that people should focus on and use?
Well, it depends on what you're using it for. So there isn't one platform that I utilize in order to get the best outcome possible. I utilize different platforms for what they're best and capable of. Just like an employer with its employees, you'll want to use the opportunities within that employee to be able to use their strengths, right? And so the same thing applies to AI. Could there be some biasness in there? Possibly, yes. Depending on the creators, could there be some ambiguity? Absolutely. But we also see that within our human lives, big, huge areas of ambiguity. And so I think like the human level and the AI level are a great like matchup because for me, the different platforms that I utilize them to their strengths and to the result that I ultimately want. And when you're breaking down AI, you got to begin with the end in mind. What is the end result that you want to achieve? And then start utilizing the platforms that speak to that strength and your result.
So imagine I'm a novice, which basically I am, and I've got no experience with AI, and I really want to
Yep.
start using AI inside my business. Chat GPT is the most popular one, or the one I'm going to hear about the most.
Yeah.
Where should I start? Should I start with chat, or should I find another platform and use the other platform?
It depends on what it is that you're utilizing it for. So for me, ChatGPT is a strategist. It is think of it as my right hand man. When I am trying to think through ideas or solve problems, I utilize chat to be that strategist. If I'm looking at data to analyze, chat is great. However, I have really become accustomed to Gemini because that Gemini is owned by Google and utilizing Google Sheets and their forms. They have the AI built in. So now what you would do with Excel as far as like trying to create formulas to be able to filter something or data validation or whatever that looks like. Now Gemini is already attached to Google Sheets. And so all you have to do is simply, just like ChatGPT, simply type in what it is that you want to do with that sheet, and it'll do it for you without having to do any, like it does the macros and the formulas all in the background. And the best thing that I tell people when I create chatbots for them is the first command that I give them to give their chatbot is, how do I use you? Right. And then it's going to go through and it's going to navigate to you what it is that it does, how you're going to utilize it, and how much information it can digest depending on the complexity of what you're trying to do.
So the Gemini platform, in your opinion, is more suitable to business use, and you think the Chat GPT platform is more like a research tool. Is that accurate?
Well, I would say yes and no. So, ChatGPT, I utilize that as my strategist when I want to input information regarding a complex situation with a business or within my own business. I utilize chat to bring on strategists. And the great thing about it is that chat will utilize its information to give me the best platform, out there that's going to help me accomplish my end deliverable, right? Gemini, for instance, because that it's connected with all of the applications that Google has, it really is a one-stop shop within Google. So there are different ways that I utilize the different platforms, but for me, like the right-hand man that I go to, the chatbot is ChatGPT.
Brand new, got a business, my business is successful. what areas should I be immediately looking at? Obviously, if I could automate everything, that'd be fantastic. But in the meantime,
Yep.
what areas should I be looking at? What are the most useful applications of AI that a small to mid-sized business should be looking at and then obviously implementing? What are your opinions on that?
Yeah. So for me, when I look at a business, I look at their three pain points of what they're spending the most time on and how big of a complexity and or repetitiveness that they're allocating towards that time, right? So if it's looking at emails and trying to get a response, to it, or even filtering through your emails, chat is a large language model, and I'm not going to say anyone specifically, but a large language model can help come in and dissect that information to be able to integrate it into maybe a software program that you have internally. So I have done those with companies. We also have looked at the one of the things that I've learned operationally is being able to help employees understand the process and how to deliver the best result. And everybody learns differently. The way that AI is going is the adoption of AI in the workplace is the future. To be able to have your employees as individual contributors work autonomously, but also work on the same rhythm as the standard operating procedure that you wrote, or the policies and procedures that you put into place. It's right there to answer the questions and to help them through that workflow in order to give the desired results. So again, it's really just looking at your pain points and the time that you're spending every day on just tasks, or you're just like, I wish I had something that could just do this for me, right? So that you can allocate your attention to more important things, right, within your business. So that's the answer that I have, is just looking at your pain points and what is it that you're spending the most time task on.
So let's just throw out some challenges to you, if you don't mind. I'm gonna give you
Sure.
some business challenges, and you tell me what the AI solution is.
Okay.
So some of the more obvious ones to me are initial customer service interactions. If I go to a website and the bot asks me, what's your question or what's your challenge, it'll go through a series of steps. So I understand that customer service position. It's not much different than me calling up AT&T and going through all the press 9, press 8, and then
Right.
finally, if we're not answering your questions, press 0. And I say, at least, why did you ask me to press 0 to begin with? That's what I wanted to press from the beginning. But
Sure.
other than like customer service type things, you mentioned email. What are
Mhm.
some other applications that maybe people don't even realize that AI could be doing tremendous work for them and producing tremendous results that maybe they haven't even truly thought about?
Yeah, so great question. One of my favorite applications that I like to utilize when I'm doing presentations or even sales pages, websites. I don't know if you've heard of Manus. They were just right now acquired by Meta, and they are like a year in of being into their business, and they got adopted. They got bought out by Meta, and so if you're utilizing your time as let's just say you're in operations and you're trying to do a quarterly business report to showcase how your business is doing, you might be spending a lot of time on collecting data from different sources and trying to put that all together for a presentation with AI, both ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever it is that you want to use along with Manus can substantially bring down that time. And I'm talking for the amount of days that you're spending to try and collect that data, that can be done in just a matter of couple of hours. And the one thing about Manus is if you've ever seen their logo, it's a snap of a finger. That's what their logo is, right? And that's because it is able to put out something so quickly. So I have a how to create a 7 minute a sales page in 7 minutes, and that's just how quickly it can get it done. When you think about what you were spending your time on before, or you had headcount that was allocated towards creating a website and or a sales page that took days or weeks or depending on their workload, is something now that if you have an idea as the CEO, simply just go into Manus and get that created, and it's instantaneously.
So you're mentioning a bunch of different platforms: Manus, Gemini, ChatGPT. Um, Give me some insight as to which platforms for specific tasks. How about I give an outcome to you and you tell me what platform you might suggest?
Okay.
Fair enough?
Okay.
Writing my emails.
Writing your emails. I utilize chat
And I mean
to do that.
marketing emails. I don't mean a personal email.
Got it. Yeah. So what I would do is create a chat bot within ChatGPT to be able to structure your personality, your tone, what you're wanting to market so that it learns who Marshall Silver is to be able to respond in your manner. So ChatGPT and a chat bot.
Creating live slide decks for presentations.
Manus, definitely.
Okay. Where would I go to create an AI avatar of myself?
Depending on the platform that you want to utilize, you can do that on pretty much any platform. However, the two that come most to mind for me, just because of their capability, so ChatGPT has the ability to create GPTs, which are the chatbots, and so does Gemini has their gems as well. So I would go between the both. Yes.
And what if I want to create AI video? What if I want to create something more? I know some of the AI creations or video are very limited in time, 7 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it is. What if I want to create full courses? What if I want to do an AI version of this broadcast one day because I'm at Disneyland with my daughter celebrating her birthday? Which
Ooh,
platform should I use?
yeah, that's a great
Which, by the way,
question
I'm going
because
next week, so I got to learn this really fast.
that's actually a great question. And the best answer that I can give you in my experience, because that's actually hasn't been a part that I've touched on. However, I find that Google Labs and Google Flow have been one of the best platforms to be able to create that AI scenario and to put that together. It does take a little bit of chopping and putting together as far as the content that you're creating. Completely doable, but I don't have an answer, like a straight answer to give you in that, because that's really a field that I have not gotten into as of yet. But I'd love to follow up with you on that.
Yeah, I'm seeing ads from people like Onyx Singal and even Jeff Hunter, one of our mutual friends. They're
Mhm.
talking about building AI avatars that can do all of my videos and do all of my courses. And, even this ad was an AI avatar. And
Yeah,
so what
correct.
platform do
Yep.
you think they're using?
But you're more than likely utilizing different platforms in order. But from my experience, because Jeff is one of my mentors, that would be Google Labs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So obviously you completely reinvented yourself after Inner Circle, and it's just been glorious watching your success. I
Thank
have
you.
referred a number of my other students to you for their AI needs, and every single one of them, without exception, comes back and says Felicia is remarkable.
Oh,
She is
thank you.
just astounding. Yeah. And I say, yeah, it's not even her. She's just an AI bot. She's not even real. No, the real Felicia has very short hair, and then the AI bot has this big, long, glowing mane of hair. So,
Yes.
with that said, let's imagine I send some more people to you.
Yep.
Walk me through the process. I've got a guy that wants to do a crypto seminar, and
Okay.
we're gathering up our crypto experts, but he wants to do a crypto event, and we're just starting flat.
Sure.
I hand him off to you. He says, Felicia, I want to do a crypto event. I want to do this seminar. I want to be able to promote it. I want to be able to manage the databases. I want to have the entire process be handled AI. People see the ad, they buy, they don't buy. People see the ad, they buy. How do we upgrade them? Where would you start?
Wow. Well, I would start there and knowing where it was that he wanted to go and to be able to get a holistic view of his what he wants to deliver on. So again, when I analyze businesses, what does he want to achieve at the end? Does he want, people to buy in? to his seminar and what it is that he's going to be promoting. And if that's the case, then that's where we would begin. Okay, as the buyer, what is it that they're most excited about to excite their imagination, to be able to get them in that buying state. And again, I use a lot of words that you taught me because that's how I've been able to sell my business.
Well, and that's why you're so good at this. So I just
Yep.
want to point out that obviously you have not only extensive AI training, that's your expertise, but you also have extensive training in subconscious reprogramming and hypnosis.
Correct.
And the last time we had you as a guest on this broadcast, we were talking about the similarities between hypnosis and prompts, that hypnosis is only as effective as the suggestion given to the subject. And an AI bot or agent is only as effective as the prompt that it was handed. It does what you tell it to do. I mean, that's the core of hypnosis.
Right.
So yeah, of course we use the same language because it works, it's effective. And I would be a horrible teacher if you didn't use the same language patterns that I know from decades work. So getting back to that programming, yeah, let's say that my crypto client that wants to do a seminar, their whole outcome is I want to fill up an event at a cost-effective level, whatever that is, $100, $150, $500 a head. How, again, step by step, how would a person solve that particular challenge? Would I go to ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, I want to do an event with 200 people. I've got an advertising budget of $10,000 or $30,000. How do I put 100 or 200 people in this room with that budget? Is that where I would start? Is it that basic?
It could be that basic, and you're going to get a general answer depending, and you
I was
hit it
going to
right
say,
at
would
the
the
nail.
answer be useful though?
It could. Yes and no, right? And so what you'll want to do is to be able to get the information out of the person's mind to create an assessment. Who's your target rich environment? What is their age range? What kind of income, should they have within the parameters? So it's really building out, for me, doing a discovery meeting with them to be able to see, touching on those three basic forms of information, so that we can go in and say, okay, what is the best way to market to these individuals, to be able to analyze that? Is that through social media, right? Is that through email marketing? Is that doing live broadcasts to bring people in? What does that look like based upon the parameters that we have given? So ideally, what I build is an assessment, and I do that through Manus. And that helps me to be able to get the person comfortable, first and foremost, with AI. You're having a conversation, you're taking a survey. It's something that we've already done, and we shouldn't be intimidated by whatever platform is in front of us in order to get the information. But the great thing about it is that not only will you get my expertise, you'll get the expertise that's pulling in all of this information from what has been successful with other individuals. So if you're looking to be like a certain person, or mimic, or mirror their outcome, we can definitely, point at that as a point of reference to be able to give us the best results on how they're doing it, whether they're doing ClickFunnels or they're just doing live broadcasts or podcasts, what that looks like. So it really just starts with an assessment and being able to know who their target rich environment is.
Here's kind of an off-topic question. You just mentioned ClickFunnels. Obviously, there's a lot of marketing platforms, ClickFunnels, Go High Level, you name it. There's a lot of them. And some of them are ahead of the curve as far as AI is concerned, implementing AI directly into their system. Do you have any recommendations or any observations of who is better utilizing AI on their platforms? We're running this show on StreamYard, and StreamYard just put a whole bunch of AI elements inside the platform. Some of them good, some of them absolutely horrible. Some of them, I had hair when I started using them, so not all of them excellent. From your experience working with all the clients that you work with and all the things that you look at, do you see anybody implementing AI into their existing software or platforms for marketing that's doing a better job than others?
Yeah, so from experience, and this is my own biasness, and from customers that I have spoken to, it would be Go High Level, as well as, because that they have been in contact with my mentor as well, to be able to integrate how AI can best service their customers. And when you have customer obsession and being able to deliver results, I think that's the greatest asset that you can attain as being a business owner. And so my biasness would be, in my opinion, would be go high level.
We use Go High Level, and we love it. Yeah, we stopped using ClickFunnels a long time ago, and Go High Level is just so much easier and so much more efficient, in my opinion, just a substantially better platform.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're watching this show right now and you're digging it, and I know you are because I am, and you want to learn more about AI, and I'm not coming up with the question that you would ask Felicia, well, you know what you got to do. Call 877-SILVER-1. Normally, the guest leaves at the top of the hour when we go into the vault to start taking your questions, but I can tell already from the chat that you guys are loving Felicia. So I want to ask you up front, are you able to stay at least for a little bit past the top of the hour to answer some questions from some people that have questions about AI that might be prospective clients for you?
Absolutely. Let me just get my Venmo QR code real quick. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Yes,
Yes.
no, please do. I mean, you know me, I'm
Just
all about
kidding.
selling. It's what makes the world go round, baby. So you mentioned there obviously you're well versed in AI. You mentioned our mutual friend and a AI mentor of yours, Jeff Hunter.
Yes.
There's a lot of people in the space right now. Jeff is certainly one of the go-tos that go high level if they hold a conference or when we hold a conference. That's where you met Jeff. We like to bring him in because not only is he wise and fairly ahead of the curve as far as learning and AI is concerned. Is there anybody else that you know that are people that they should be listening to so that my audience can sift through all of the garbage and the nonsense? Because, you know, everybody and their brother is selling some kind of an AI product right now. And I just want to be sure that I'm guiding my audiences healthfully and not getting them to a place where they're going to get ripped off.
Right. Of course. We want to buy from people that we know, like, and trust. And I have particularly bought from Jeff J. Hunter personally and have been able to utilize his resources to develop my own infinite intelligence. And so I'm going to have that opinion to go, with Jeff and his consultants, which I am a consultant for Jeff, a certified consultant. And so I'm really going to point you back to me. in the AI expert, space. We just have a great community of individuals who are in different areas of business. And so we bring all of that together, and that has been brought on by Jeff J. Hunter. So I just want to give him a round of applause for being able to tap into my creativeness. I know there are a lot of other individuals that will teach you that have the AI experience and or knowledge. I, for myself, have had the learning curve just quickly go away from knowing what is right and what is wrong. And so again, I'm just going to put it out there. Jeff J. Hunters and his certified consultants are the go-to.
You're here now, so
Yep.
Not only will they have a chance after the top of the hour to call in and chat with you, all you got to do is call 877-SILVER, SYLVER1, scrolling across the bottom of your screen, highlighted on the screen right now. Call that number, but before you call that number, go to MarshallSilverLive.com. Make sure you're registered for an account. It's the only way you can get on the air, MarshallSilverLive.com. Register your account. You'll get an affiliate link. You'll also get instructions on how you can get on the air. And even if you're asking Felicia a question in the second hour, you'll also get $100 cash. So learn and earn all at the same time. It's all a good thing. What's your contact information? How would somebody that's watching the show right now get a hold of you directly so that they can utilize your services?
Yeah, you can go to i2t3.com, or you can email me at info@i2t3.ai.
i2t3.com or info@i2t3.ai.
Correct.
Lovely. I did that.
you.
See, I'm an avatar. I'm not even real. I'm just an avatar. The prompt was, give me an uncontrollably sexy guy that can speak with wisdom and compassion. And that's what I got. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen happen inside of AI? I mean, obviously there's weird video stuff, people with 3 legs or 17 fingers or just odd stuff. You've got to have some funny AI stories to tell. Can you share a couple of those?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So AI is definitely an experimentation with what the end result that you're trying to get out. And so when my husband and I got married in August, there's a little clip of us where we're gazing at each other, and it's just a beautiful moment right before we're finalizing our marriage with that kiss. And so I wanted to put it into AI because I was selling some services to a business. I wanted to put it into AI to kind of just make it a little bit more dreamy and dramatic, for that kiss. And when I put it into AI, you see us and you can recognize us both. But as it kind of turned our faces, we completely turned into different people altogether. It was funny. However, it was also a great marketing tool because while I was in that presentation, it gave me the opportunity to touch on the information that you put in is the deliverable that you're going to get out. And so, because I wasn't specific enough to let it know, do not change any of the features, of the people that are in this video, it went ahead and did its own thing and completely made us into two different people. So that's one of the lessons learned. And that's one of the first things that I teach individuals is to be able to have a good prompt to get the result that you're looking for.
In hypnosis, and as you know, in all of my seminars, one of the major elements that I use to help people make breakthroughs is a simple question. And the question is, what do you want?
That's right.
That question could be rephrased, what is the outcome? What's
Correct.
the result we're seeking? And so when we begin with the end in mind, it gets easier to back up and say, okay, what are the steps to get there? And if we've got an outcome or an end in mind and we're not getting there, we're not producing a result that seems to be moving us along that path, then the question I always ask people is, what you're looking for is in a place you haven't looked. Your result is going to be from something you haven't done. So what
Right.
haven't you done, no matter how counterintuitive it is? Myself in my life, I'd been married twice before my one true wife. And the thing that brought me to the place, and Erica, you know how we are together.
Okay.
We're like you and Michael. It's the best thing ever. It's beyond imagination to me how good my marriage is. And the reason, though, is my prompt, my program, my request of my universe, or my prayer to God, however you want to position and frame it. I changed my frame. And I didn't ask for all the things I'd asked for decades. I asked for one thing: give me someone kind. I said, everything else I'll deal with. Everything else I'll figure out. I just don't want to fight anymore. I'm just so tired of wasting my energy with this nonsense. And I got the whole package. That prompt, that thing that we ask for, often is, we don't even realize that's what we want. I'm here at Studio Money right now. You've been to Studio Money. You've spoken on the stage at Prosperity Theater. You've been here in Sterling Worldwide. This is a byproduct. The whole Studio Money concept is a byproduct of my desire to spend more time with my wife and my children, less time on a private jet, flying all over the world, lecturing and teaching people. So do you think that the biggest reason right now that people aren't fully adopting something, if I know that I can keep my ice frozen because there's this box I can plug into the wall that maintains a temperature to keep it, frozen like that, I'd be a fool not to use my freezer. But
Right.
if I got a freezer and I didn't realize it needed to be plugged into the wall, and I opened it up and I put my ice inside of it thinking it's going to keep my ice froze, and then I shut it and my ice still melts, then I'm going to think refrigerators don't work. And that's not the challenge. It's not the refrigerator's fault that I'm too stupid to know how to plug it in. AI is like that right now, in my opinion. AI is one of those things that for a lot of people, including people, frankly, in my demographic, baby boomers, and I'm at the very end of baby boomers, I think a lot of times baby boomers in particular have a hesitancy or even a phobia of technology in general, but AI specifically. Do you think that is what's going on right now, that a lot of people just think the concept of learning about AI and how to leverage it and use it in their own lives, do you think that a lot of people are overwhelmed by that?
Yes, absolutely. And that's where I've been able to bring in my services to individuals, knowing that that's a problem that I can solve for them, is to be able to get them past that learning curve and give them plug and play systems. I also offer getting past the learning curve of what you would ideally spend in trying to learn AI in all different aspects. You can do a private one on one session with me that I offer to be able to get past that fear. And it's not difficult, it's just different. And you need somebody like a mentor to be able to walk you through the different platforms, how to utilize their strengths, utilizing the prompts so that it gives you the best results, because a lot of the platforms that are out there utilize credits in order based on the subscription that you have paid. And so you want to be able to utilize that subscription in the best form. And so prompt engineering is really the best tool that you can utilize and learn to be able to get AI to complement you and not work against you. Because if you're utilizing it in a manner of where it's just putting you down a rabbit hole because you're so frustrated, it's because of the information that we're putting in. And so we ideally want to isolate that to what is it that you want at the end of the day or at the end of the problem. So I wholeheartedly agree with you that it can be overwhelming at times to be able to know what's right, what's wrong. But as long as you have somebody who's guiding you through that process, that will help you to overcome that and implement it within your business, either on your own or with my services, to complement and to keep the head count that you have and not have to continue to throw money at a problem that's easily solvable, just by asking the question of what do I want?
So you mentioned a moment ago, and by the way, if you're watching the show right now and you're appreciating this conversation and you're interested in AI, we're about to open the phone lines up to everybody. And if you're new to the Marshall Silver Live program, not only can you call 1-877-SILVER-1 and ask any question of myself about sex, money, or power, or you can also ask our guest a question today, Felicia Beebe, anything you want to know about AI. So it would be a really good time. I will also warn you, if you're brand new to the show, you might not know this. We only have a max of about 4 people that can call in and ask me a question on a daily basis just because of time constraints. But we have about 4 spaces. Every single person that calls in, whether you ask me or Felicia a question, receives $100 cash. Yes, it's real. I know people don't believe that. It's really happening. We're really paying out money on a regular basis. And if you told somebody about the show and you sent them your affiliate link and then they call in, they get $100, you get 20 every single time. You can call in as often as you like. We don't have any limitation on how many days you can call in. You can call in every single day. Make 500. You could make it a full-time job just calling my show. But Felicia's going to be here. Did you have something you were going to say?
No.
Okay. My computer froze a little bit, and I wasn't sure if you were raising your hand or touching your hair. You mentioned that you do one-on-one consultations. Now, this is with you, correct, and not your avatar?
Correct. Yes.
So here's my question. What's the cost of that? If somebody watching the program right now wants to do a consultation to see how AI fits in their business, what's the cost of the consultation?
The consultation is completely free. That is my gift to you. It's completely free to do a consultation with me. It's figured from there. It's figuring out what it is that you need and want, and that's where the services come in for being able to look at a package that I'm going to deliver to you on the complexity of what you're asking.
So anybody that might be interested in that one-on-one complimentary consultation, which, by the way, I didn't know you were going to offer that. I know that you normally charge $1,000 just to do an open-ended consultation for somebody. That's a remarkable gift to give to everybody that's watching Marshall Silver Live right now. The place that they should go to, should they send you an email? Is there a phone number they can call? Or are they better off just going to info@i2t3.ai?
Yes, both of those avenues, my website, the i2t3.com, or the info@i2t3.ai is the best way to reach me. And yeah, and thank you for bringing that up with it. It is a gift that I am giving because time is valuable. And, just as the person who's going to ask the question is getting $100. So you're going to make money today as well as get a free consultation that normally is charged $1,000.
I love it. What areas do you think, before we get to the top of the hour and we open up the vault and start taking calls? And again, if you want to get on the air, you want to call now, because every single day we turn calls away. Every single day people aren't able to get on. The queue gets filled up very quickly. If you want to get on the air, now is the time to call before we go into the vault. 877-SILVER1. The phone number's on the screen. Call the number. You'll talk to a screener, not an AI bot, although soon it will be. You'll talk to a screener. They'll ask you what your question is, and then they'll give you access to get on the air. Is there any areas, my open heart surgery back in 2021 was done robotically.
Mhm.
And my belief is the reason they did it robotically is it's a better way to do it, that the robot can move with more precision than the human can. Otherwise, there'd be no reason to do it robotically. But my surgeon stood in the other room, and the robot did all the surgery on me. My thought after my surgery was that my surgeon probably soon enough won't be necessary at all, because the surgeon is almost certain to be able to, is going to be human. They're going to make mistakes, whereas the AI bot isn't likely to. What areas do you think AI is not fully used in that we're about to see an explosion of its leverage?
Ooh, let's see here. Well,
And I know I'm throwing random questions
I
at you, so I
know.
appreciate you playing ball.
Yes. Well, statistically, 99% of Fortune 500 companies are utilizing AI right now. And in the healthcare space is now being adopted just as the surgery, but more of like that predictive pattern. It's now being adopted within the AI space. ChatGPT actually came out with like a health segment that you can utilize and to be able to ask health questions. However, there's still a level of human element to be able to verify the information that's in. And so your surgeon, was actually just doing some quality checks to ensure that that robot was doing what it needed to do. So that's a tough question because I think there are a lot of industries that can utilize it. And
So autonomous cars, good or bad?
oh, ooh,
That was a big
that
sigh.
is,
I saw that. That was a big sigh. So
I
we just
know,
went to
I
Vegas last
know.
week for our anniversary, and the Zooks, ZOOX, the Zooks were everywhere.
Yep.
And right now they're free in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
There's no charge for them. They drive 6 people, 2 bench seats facing each other, but there's no driver in the car. What a weird sensation it was to see them on the street, let alone get in a car that has no driver. That's, at this point, I might trust the driverless car, but I don't trust humans in cars, driving cars around my driverless cars. What are your thoughts on it?
That is a great question. And that I can relate to that because I used to, a decade ago when Lyft and Uber were just barely starting, I used to drive for Lyft and for Veo, and two different types of customers that they service. I think I think that not having a driver, depending on the situation, can be a real asset. Me as a woman being in that industry, Veo is a completely different target rich environment. And so ideally what you're doing is you're taking individuals to their appointments and picking them up from them versus Lyft where it can be pretty ambiguous, and or Uber, it can be ambiguous on where they're coming from, who they are. So there really isn't a vetting process. There's a minimal vetting process of the people that are getting within your car. And I think it's a great direction of where we're going. However, I do still have that human side of being able to know what's situationally around, and for the driverless automobile to decipher, is that something that's going to cause danger to something and or someone. So that is still a risk. And obviously the risk has been assessed and it's smaller than not taking the risk. And so that's why you see them more prevalent now. I think it's a great asset to have, and especially because us as humans, we can get tired and we can be put into situations that aren't the safest for us. I think that's a great industry to start in. Again, I still have that human element of being able to just, if something went wrong, then they have to fix it and fix it immediately and just not ignore it.
Cool. Well, hey, we're about to go into the vault, so you're going to be able to stick around for at least a little while, correct?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. So if you're watching the show right now and you're brand new to Marshall Silver Live, in the second portion of the show every single day, we enter what we call the vault. And what we do in the vault is we take your calls at 877-SILVER-1. And if you should get on the air, if your question is interesting, if we find you pleasing, if we think it's going to be fun, we'll get you on the air. And every single person that gets on the air gets $100 from me, without exception. So if you have a good question, or maybe you just want the money, I don't care. I believe it's my way of helping out the economy. Velocity is good. I'd like to share the wealth that I've been blessed with you. All you got to do, call 877-SILVER-1 to get on the air as long as space is available. Do it now. Today, because we are still testing the show, not only will you receive $100 for calling in, I'm also going to give you 2 tickets to an event that I've been doing for over 40 years called Turning Point. It'll teach you how to reprogram your own brain. It'll show you the skills of irresistible influence. And most importantly, turn up your wantingness. Give you back your mojo and your motivation so you'll produce at a higher level. Those tickets are $3,000 a piece. Every single person on today's show not only gets $100, you're also going to receive 2 $3,000 tickets to Turning Point, which will change your life forever. So pretty big deal. If it were me and I were you and I was watching this show right now, I would call the number. You don't need to listen to me. I'm just a happy, healthy, well-adjusted, self-made multimillionaire. What do I know? So to give you an idea of what Turning Point is all about, take a look at this video, and I'll see you in the vault.
Turning Point. A total change in direction for the better.
Who here is ready for a Turning Point? You absolutely have to have one. Put them high.
The 2-day Turning Point seminar is different than any other program in that it does more than just teach you the skills for your relationships, wealth, and power. It also programs you on a subconscious level to put those skills into immediate use.
This weekend is about empowerment. This weekend is about you understanding how to take charge of your own life.
You will learn total control of your thoughts and emotions, how to use PND, or psychoneural duplication, to take on the thoughts and actions of others to produce similar results. Whether it's losing weight, changing habits, being a millionaire.
When you think what a millionaire thinks and you do what a millionaire does, you'll produce similar results.
You will learn to program these powerful tools at a subconscious level for immediate and lasting results.
Your conscious mind is what's called your critical factor. It's the mind you're using right now to determine whether the information I'm giving to you will work for you or not. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is merely a computer. It's non-critical. It doesn't even have the ability to make judgment. So all trance, hypnosis, reprogramming is setting aside the critical factor of your conscious mind and non-critically accepting suggestions.
And empowering.
To make a fear vanish, you must experience it fully.
As it helps you create your life exactly the way you want it. Bring your family closer. Find the love of your life. Create strategies for wealth. Learn irresistible influence, and so much more. Because of the intimate nature of this course, seats are very limited. Register now before your life passes you by, and there are no more turning points for you. Tens of thousands of people have learned this information and are using it daily.
You don't get angry if you get fired from your job and you know that within 2 years you will be a multi-millionaire.
It's your time.
There's a way for you to win this game that is different than how you're doing it, and it works.
It's your life.
When you learn how to do that, you become more powerful, and power is for use.
It's your turning point.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Marshall Silver at Marshall Silver Live. We are in the vault, and you know what that means. Everybody that calls in 1-877-SILVER1 receives $100 cash, baby. Cash. We got lots, loads. All you got to do is call. Our first caller to call in has a question for you, Felicia. It's Jesse from San Diego, and he's on the topic that we were just chatting about, AI in medicine. Jesse, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What's your question?
Basically, how AI is going to work with actually creating new medicine for the future.
Say that again. Ask again.
Hang on, see if I can make sure you hear me. Okay. With AI working with creating new medicines, that should help kind of, cure these diseases and all that we still haven't kind of got close to yet.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, the question is AI helping to create new medicines, medications to cure disease? Was that the question?
That's correct.
So I know it's not your area of expertise, but what do you think? Obviously AI is doing everything, and I have some certain concerns about AI in certain areas that it might get too clever. Have you, in your experience, seen, Felicia, anybody utilizing AI to, are the pharmaceutical companies using AI to create different compounds?
What AI does is to be able to have a collectiveness of patterns to give the best results. And so what it's doing is it is analyzing the data and or whatever it is that they're trying to create to give the best ingredients of what it can. I am not sure what they're doing in the pharmaceutical space. What I can tell you is that AI is an analyzer to be able to see what's working and what doesn't work and what would be best compatible dependent on the risk.
Jesse, you asked a pretty specific question. First and foremost, how'd you find out about my show?
Well, I've watched a show, even going way back to Get Rich Radio and all that. I talked to you way back when. I even met you when the events in Las Vegas and even shook your hand.
2013, man. We've been friends a long time then.
Yep, even on Facebook.
You asked a question about AI in medicine. Is this a personal question?
Actually, I've been studying health over 20 years on my own, and natural and all that stuff and all that. So this is actually something that I have interest in learning about as well,
What's your business?
Well, actually, I'm a distributor, actually, a company called Neuro Extracts and all that. And they use AI to actually basically...
Slow down a little bit so we can get your plug in fully. What's the company you're involved with?
Oh, Neuro Extracts. They have a product called iHercules. They have like 50 years backing it up in research. And they use AI to actually help.
Go ahead.
They use AI to create the product and all that because it takes us a lot longer to do it versus AI,
And I noticed you're at San Diego City College. What are you learning right now?
Actually, I'm taking basically one of my classes basically is on coaching on health and wellness.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you were at Turning Point?
Actually, I haven't been to one yet, and right now, my current situation kind of makes it a little bit difficult, But I would love to go. They had one here locally,
Yeah, we've got one at Studio Money in Carlsbad. You've got 2 free tickets. If you can go to City College, you can go to Turning Point. No more excuses. And you're going to learn a whole lot more, that's for sure. Guaranteed. But before you go, what's the biggest challenge you've got going on right now, not related to your question? What's the biggest challenge you've got going on right now that you want to solve using AI?
Definitely
like
say
making
money for sure. There's a lot of people are doing it and all that. Even my buddies back in high school, he's using AI to make these crazy videos.
So it's about time you made some money too, isn't it?
Working on it.
Well, you just did. $100 from Marshall Silver. You just made money. I know it's going to go a long way there in the cafeteria at City College. So buy all your friends and tell them where you got it. Tell them to watch Marshall Silver.
Thank you.
You bet. God bless, Jesse. I'll see you at Turning Point. David Brewster in McAllen, Texas, has a question about AI and musicians. David Brewster, welcome to the show. It's very dark where David is. There he is. Texas has a question about AI and musicians. Sounds like David's got a big delay on his microphone.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
We can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you've got a big delay. You might have to call back in, or
Yeah. Is there? There you go. Can you hear? There you go.
yeah, turn off your
All right,
speaker and
awesome.
just.
Can you hear?
Just so you know, Marshall, I
Headphones on, got a
can't.
big delay.
I
You might
can't
have
hear
to call
them.
back in, or yeah, I'm going to have you call back in. We're getting a great delay. If you can get a headset, a headphone, it'll be better. So go ahead and let him go.
How about now?
Awesome. We're going to pause you, David. We're going to have you get a
I
set of
cannot
headphones. And
hear.
we'll
Let me call
get you back
in.
in the room. You got just stay right where you are. Joseph, and I liked David's question. He was asking about, in fact, I can answer the question for him, or at least ask the question for him. You can answer the question. My kids are musicians, and one of the big threats inside of music right now is AI-created music. In fact, I just saw that, I don't know if you saw this news piece, someone created AI-created music. All the songs were created by AI. He put the songs, I think, on Spotify, but he also created bots that went in and listened to the songs that he created. Since Spotify pays people by the consumption of their content, his AI bots went in, consumed the content that his AI bots had created, and he made millions and millions and millions of dollars. Now, first and foremost, I think that's creative. I think that's very clever. And I think if there wasn't a rule against it, how could it be illegal? Certainly wasn't fraud. If you create a platform that can be gamed, just like my platform, you can be sure people are going to find a way to game it. What are your thoughts on that? Is AI a threat to musicians and creators in general? That they, you know, if film and video and songs, my kids did an AI song for me, and it was as good as any song I've ever seen anybody produce. Is it a threat? Is it going to infringe? Obviously, people are concerned AI is going to take over. I'm only concerned on the creative side. Is it going to infringe on creativity, and is there a solution to that, do you think?
It's only a threat if you don't embrace it. That is my best answer that I can give you in that. When you think about individuals who don't have a great voice, there's auto-tuning, that's has been put into place. And so that is the same mindset that you have to think of it in, is that people are going to get creative in being able to develop on what a song is, still being able to touch on the human level of experiences and drawing that in. Utilize AI to help you with that creativity. If you're having a writer's block, that is a great way to implement AI to be able to help you get over it and being able to fill in the gaps of where you're getting stuck.
So it seems to me that what you just said was either embrace it or be dead. No, I mean it. Again, yeah, we can't get rid of it. And I thought that was a really good example too, by the way, the auto-tune, that people use, that singers use to adjust their voice and make their voices sound better. What a great example, because, yeah, it's not going anywhere. So anybody that's afraid that AI is going to take over their profession, well, you're right, number one. But number two, there's going to be some people in your profession that aren't worried about AI taking it over. All they're asking is, how can we use AI to a better degree so that I can produce better results?
Correct.
And that's the thing. Yeah, you want to talk to, can we get him back on the air? Let's see if we can get David back on the air to ask his question rather than my interpretation of his question. Hey, David, you're back on the air. Let's see if we've got a delay.
Awesome. Can y'all hear me now?
Perfect.
Awesome.
Absolutely perfect.
Awesome. Nice to talk to both of y'all. Hi, Marshall. Hi, Felicia. It's just, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Where are you calling in from? Where are you calling from?
McAllen, Texas. I'm right there south of the border, about 20 minutes from the U.S.-Mexico border. I'm on this
side. I love it. How'd you find out about my show?
Since Get Rich Radio years ago.
We got to go find that database.
It was fun. I remember as soon as what I enjoyed it is that when you would log on, the clock would start counting down. And if you weren't taking the action, the numbers would turn red, or if you were doing the right thing, they would turn green. I miss that part. It just kind of psychologically would get into.
Well, you know what? Maybe we'll reinstigate it, because it made it go viral. It was a cool thing. But for now, you're $100 richer for being here. Ask your question specifically that you were asking about AI.
Oh yeah, sure. So Felicia, one thing is like AI is working, to the advantage in many businesses and industries. People are using it to make money. People are using it to automate their services, to deliver their products, to making day trades. So it's all positive. It just, for some reason, in the music industry, it's being demonized right now because of the whole thing that it's infringing on their copyrights. Because what happens is, what they found, if you go online and check, a lot of AI is spitting out basically songs that were created by musicians prior. And if you compare the original one to what AI spat out, it's basically the same thing. You could tell where they got the original from. So a lot of lawsuits are going back and forth for copyright infringement with these AI companies. And the whole thing is, as you guys mentioned, it's here to stay, just like autotune. Everybody embraced autotune, but they're not embracing this. It's just, and the thing is that I believe I'm one of those people where in the beginning I was somewhat against it, but I've changed my mind because I'm realizing that number one, is here to stay. I can't, I might as well utilize it. And if I don't think that, as far as producing and engineering, I don't think it's at that stage where it can just completely remove me that way. I just don't. I think there's certain things that producers and engineers do that AI still has not been able to duplicate just yet. Soon, but not yet. So, I mean, my whole thing is, for musicians, how do musicians get over this stigmata of this demonizing of AI, because it's not going anywhere?
Well, one of the things, I don't know if you saw recently in the news, Zania Monet is an AI artist. Are you familiar with that name?
Yes, yes, yes.
They just got a $3 million deal with Hollywood Media. Did you see that?
Yeah, I read about it. Yeah, I read a bit.
So again, just what you said, Felicia, that all of us, and all things for that matter, but especially AI, will either embrace it or will be left in the dust. It's kind of like somebody, saying, hey, I'm not going to close down my buggy whip factory because, people are still going to need buggy whips for their buggies when we don't have buggies anymore. So my belief is there's going to be a time where musicians and creative types, Bono or Madonna or Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift already are just going to utilize it as the framework for their music and then back up and say, great, you gave me some great suggestions. Here's the human tweaks. Felicia, what's your input on that? And do you think that the Taylor Swifts of the world are already using AI? Because every single one of Taylor's songs are identical. So I'm guessing she's probably using AI and just tweaking it a bit on a human level. By the way, David, are you a musician?
Yes.
What do you play?
Piano.
Awesome. Sterling Silver, my son and executive producer of this show, he's a virtuoso. He also plays the piano.
Nice. I think I had seen I seen a clip of him playing a few seconds. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he just put a clip. If you haven't gone to the Sterling Silver on Instagram yet, go there right now, register him, follow him. He just put out a clip that I thought was quite clever. He said, what if jingles were actually full songs? And he took the Nokia ringtone from the phone and he played the ringtone and then played a composition from there. The Old Spice, State Farm. State Farm saw his post on Instagram and started following him. And I told him, I said, you're going to get a sponsorship, dude. You just keep doing that.
Yeah. Shout out to
So you play the piano, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Felicia. We're going to ask you about the use of artist creativity inside of AI, and how do you think artists like David can best use AI to not resist it, rather harness the power of AI to create more music and more art?
Yeah, absolutely. Depending on what genre he's in, I would definitely utilize AI to look at the analytics of his genre and what works and what's not working. At the end of the day, when you want your business to be profitable, you want to look at all of the metrics and the KPIs, the key performance indicators that make it successful. And so David, utilize AI to be able to look at your genre, what's working and what's not working, to give you the best angle on, you're just one song or one chord away from being that hit, that person, that superstar that you want to be. So utilize it in the best possible manner to be able that complements your style and what you want to put out there into the world.
How good? Well, we've got David here because One of the things that I impress upon my kids as they're going down a path of musicianship is that show business is two words and that business is the bigger word. And so even though, my kids are playing music and they're phenomenal musicians, I keep telling them that's not enough. You could be a decent musician, but a really good business person and do way better than the best musician on the planet. And so where do you see the AI applications particularly shining right now? Are they mostly admin type duties? Is it more powerful in creative aspects, or is it better as a workhorse rather than the foundation of creativity?
It touches on all points for me. It helps me get into that creative mode. One of the things that you teach, Marshall, in your turning points is to be able to tap into the subconscious level so that your imagination and your creativity can now be cultivated by getting past the barriers that we have. AI is utilized in that same manner. What are the barriers that you're facing right now that you just can't get over? And being able to implement AI to give that creativity back to you and to get you on the trajectory of where you were at. Because again, like being a musician, there is some type of block that you're going to run into. There's a wall that you're going to run into. Why not tap into another resource of creativity to be able to help you be the best version of yourself?
Hey, David, have you been to Turning Point yet?
No, I have not. I have not.
You not only get $100 for being on the show, you also get 2 tickets worth $3,000 a piece to come join me at Turning Point. I highly recommend you do.
Awesome.
I love entertainers. I love musicians in particular, and magicians and hypnotists. But I particularly have an affection for musicians, obviously, because my kids are embarking upon a career in music, and I just want to show them how to win. So I'd love to have you come. We've got one coming up February 18th through the 20th right here in Carlsbad at Studio Money. If you can join us, man, I would love to have you and a guest as my guest. So thanks for calling in.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank y'all for having me.
You bet. God bless. Take care. Nice to see you again. Get Rich Radio. Wow. Get Rich Radio, Felicia, was basically AI. When people came to my broadcast back in 2013, they would log in and they would watch meters turning. But everything that we did to track their presence on the show to make sure they were actually active and hadn't minimized me up in the corner, everything that we did was a precursor to people and what they're tracking today with AI and customer behaviors and so forth. We got another caller, a couple more, and I could talk to you all day. I find this so fascinating, and I love chatting with you so much. But we've got people that are on the line, and I want to make sure that we get at least 2 more before I wrap up today's show. Joseph from Burlington, Kentucky. You are live on the air, and I understand you have some questions. Good to see you, by the way. You're looking awesome. And I understand
Technical
you have
issues,
some questions.
Marshall. Looks like
Thank you, friend.
I'm not able to hear
Turn your volume up on your computer. See if that works. Can you hear me now? I feel like I'm a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? We can hear Joseph.
you. I can see you, but I cannot hear you.
Okay, we can hear you
Sorry.
and see you. Can you hear us now? Okay, just send him a text. We're going to come back to Joseph. Brad Cartier from Chandler, Arizona. Glad to have you here. Welcome to the show. Before we get started, since we're a brand new show and I'm doing a little bit of marketing tracking, how'd you find out about this show?
Same as your previous guy. I remember you at Get Rich. I even have just recently, I was cleaning out an old closet and I threw out some DVDs of your really, really early stuff back with the thick black hair. No,
Hey, don't
no
rub it in
insult
just 'cause you
intended or
look so
anything,
good.
but when we were all looking much younger and nicer back then. But yeah, I've known about you for at least 25 years.
I love it, man. So what's your question for either myself or Felicia?
Well, for you, I know quite a few of consultants and other people who have done this is, because the large language models, they learn from all of your stuff. So everything you've put out there, they're pulling in information and they're essentially stealing from you. But I know people have gone in and actually created their own bounded AI systems. And so when you ask it, it basically can access everything that they've done. So I know consultants have been around for 35 years. They dumped every podcast, everything they've ever written, the books they've written, and everything else. And now you can basically access them. And now they're in their 60s and 70s. They can kind of go more into cruise control because they've built this opportunity for people to go in, ask them questions like, for their 35 years plus of experience and everything else. And, they get like they're getting consulting from them, and to think about what you could do to create a bounded area where people could log in, on a fee from a business aspect, that, hey, you could be talking to us, you could be helping reframe because we had a bad day or we ran into something that we had a problem with. And all right, and we can ask the questions, and then all of a sudden your historical, like, you were just talking, your old get rich days, can you put all of that into an AI system? Because when you think about it, like you were talking in the medical industry, a place like St. Jude or Medtronic, they just can't put all the crap on a large language model because of HIPAA, and they got to keep everything protected and everything else. So the ability to go in and create your own AI model and allow who can be in, and what it costs or what benefits they get and everything, is that something you've even considered to maybe elevate your ability to reach even more people, if that's even possible, because you've always been around and available and accessible to people around the world?
That's a great question. Yes, we're working on that right now.
Okay.
I want to ask Felicia about it, but my question for you is, what do you do for a living?
I'm actually a consultant. Yeah, I help companies get more flow through their systems, whether it's manufacturing and distribution, or if they need more improvement through their projects.
Fantastic. What's your thought on that, Felicia? And you both used a term that I don't think is familiar to all of our audience. You called them large language platforms.
Large
What
language
is that?
models.
Yeah, please explain that to our audience and me,
Yes.
frankly.
So every AI platform, whether you're utilizing ChatGPT, Gemini, they are all a form of large language models or natural language models. Or ideally, what they have done is basically taken the communication of both the human element and the computer element and mesh them together to be able for them to translate the communication between the both. So that's large language model on how I can best put it, as a simplified version of to be digestible for understanding.
Brad, are you using the large language model platforms in that way yourself?
Well,
Or
I
are
mean,
you helping
ChatGPT
clients
is
do that?
essentially one, right? That's really what I mean, they all started off this way. And again, one of the things when I'm talking to the people who have the concerns, which I would hope you would have for your IP, is that, if you just put all your stuff out there and everything that's out there, I know I can get a bunch of stuff off of ChatGPT and learn a lot of the things, and even, some of the tactics and stuff you use, I can learn just from going into ChatGPT. I don't think it's as beneficial, obviously, as attending one of your seminars, or even talking to you directly
Well,
on
I
something
love you
like
for
this.
saying it.
Yeah, well, I think it's true. There's just, especially when I mean, I know people who do hypnosis across, this type of environment across the computer and stuff like that. But there's just still something different about being in, a one-on-one environment and stuff like that. But yeah, I use large language models all the time, even for what I do. Like what you were talking about with the artist, I can say, okay, here's what I want to be able to teach my client, and I'll frame it as best I can, and then put it into Chat GPT. And because there's enough information out there about what I do, from just a lot of writings and presentations and things of other people who've had success with the type of processes I use, I just get a more simple framework from that. Because I'll even tell it, be concise and everything else, because I'm a little bit lazy when I speak. I like to just, get to the point, use as few words as possible and things like that. That's why, or even syllables. I go by Brad. I don't like Brad Lee, right? It's just, I just want to get to the point, and it really helps me frame everything in a much more simple matter. And then, yeah, I'll do some more creativity like an artist would, and just say, okay, here's how I want to relate that or make that point to this key customer or this customer, because I know these are the types of things they're struggling with. So at a high level, yes, it helped me narrow down the points I wanted to make, but then I just need to, flower it up a bit to make sure that the connection is really built there. Again, something I've learned from a history of listening to you about how to connect people both at a conscious and subconscious level.
Have you been to Turning Point?
No.
Oh man, you got 2 tickets right now.
I'm excited.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. You make sure you get to the one in February, because we're making some announcements that I'm not disclosing to anybody at the
Okay.
February Turning Point. That's going to be a game changer for people, especially coaches, especially speakers and trainers, and anybody who sells information for a living. You want to be there because it's groundbreaking. It's really, really, really good stuff. You got 2 tickets. You got $100. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for the kudos. Thanks for being so kind. And yeah, keep your eye out. We're definitely working on that kind of a platform where people can ask me questions, even if I'm not there, and still get an answer that would have been what I would have given had I been. So
Well,
you're
I mean, we
loved.
always get those wake ups right at 4 a.m. and we're sweating and like, boy, I wish I could, in order to get back to sleep, I need something calming. I'll tap into Marshall tonight. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to know that I'm the calming element in your life. It's a good thing.
Certainly. Yeah. Certainly been helpful.
You're a good soul, brother. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks at Turning Point here in Carlsbad. God bless. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
You're goodbye. And again, that's one of the things that I love, and I know this is what you love about teaching people, is you love making other people's lives better. You love finding a solution that to you is so obvious, and to them might have been something that was fairly obvious, but it wasn't obvious to them. Tell me what's the best thing, and I'm gonna get Joseph on as our last call. He's come back, and the audio is working on his phone now. Before we bring Joseph back, what's been your biggest accomplishment since you made a full-time commitment to helping people solve their business challenges via AI? What's a major success story that you want to share with us?
Yeah. Well, the biggest success story that I want to share, I'm going to share it between 2 people that you have as your inner circle members. And one of them, she had actually written a book about how to prompt engineer within AI. And when she had purchased my one-on-one program, I was able to teach her things beyond what she had written and open up her creativity and her impactfulness on what she was delivering on. And mind you, she has such tenacity in everything that she does, and she wants to be great at every single thing that she touches. And so what I was able to bring to her is clarity within the tools that she's utilizing to give her the best outcome possible. And then also another inner circle member who he has just an amazing business model. And I love it because it impacts not only his customer, but their families and being able to build wealth and legacy within their careers. And so I've been able to not only help him operationally, but also with him and his creativity to be able to showcase what's in his head, get it out of his head and into a platform that's teachable to not only his employees, but to his clients as well. And so the impactfulness really is just life changing in a positive manner. And that's what I love about what I bring, both operationally and AI strategy to the table for both of those success stories.
And you're talking about JR.
Yes.
Yeah, he's amazing. And like I said, he raves about you, rants and raves, and says, oh my God, she's the best ever. And so I'm glad you're doing great works. Hey, we got Joseph back, and I think our tech challenge has been worked out. Joseph, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Marshall. And
can you hear us?
Nice. I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Lovely. All good. By the way, congratulations. I know it's not too recent, but congratulations on your marriage to Evangelina.
Thank you so much. Thank
you.
you.
2 of my very favorite people. You guys are loved. What's your question?
When are you coming back to Salt Lake, Cincinnati?
Soon. Yeah, very soon. I know we've got a lot of friends back there, and yeah, we've got a lot of events going on. Felicia is going to be doing an AI event at Studio Money. We've also got a crypto event coming up at Studio Money in the midst of all the turning points. And yeah, I definitely want to get back to Ohio. We've got a lot of people back there that we care about and we want to take care of and serve. So soon enough. What's your question for Felicia?
For Felicia, if I know I'm starting on AI and trying to apply it on real estate and also with my partner's business on financial consulting.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering, there's this free subscription and there's the $20 for ChatGPT and all the others. So which one would be for a beginner in AI would be the best for the most effective cost to start with AI development?
Well, for me, I'm always about safety first. And you have to understand that these are open AI agents, which means that they have the capability to learn from your data and the information that you're putting in there. So anytime anybody asks me that question, it's always safety first. When they have the different products or subscriptions that you can utilize, I go for the one that's going to best benefit me in the beginning as well as in the end. And so I have the business account with AI because I want to make sure that the information that I'm putting in there isn't going to be utilized within their platform and or accessible by anyone else, whether you're a beginner or not, depending on the information that you're going to put in there. That would be my first answer, is safety first.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Nice seeing
Hey,
you, Marshall.
Joseph, you obviously are a part of my inner circle as well as your bride. So you have unlimited tickets to Turning Point yourself. We definitely miss both of you, but I also want to remind you, you just earned $100 to take you and Evangelina out to dinner on me, and I look forward to seeing your beautiful faces very, very soon.
Thank you so much. Nice seeing you.
Take care. God bless, brother.
Thank you.
So thanks, Felicia, for jumping on the show. You're always amazing. I would love to have you back again from time to time if that works for you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Looking forward to seeing both you and your husband, Michael, in person very soon. Hey, if you loved the show today, and I know that you did, and you'd like more information from Felicia Beebe about what she can do for you inside your business with AI, all you've got to do is go to i2t3.com. That's the website. Or if you want to send a direct email to her, info@i2t3.ai. Either one will get you there. She's already promised. And I got to tell you, I don't want you to be overwhelmed. So we'll call it the first 5 people that reach out to Felicia and ask her for a one-on-one $1,000 consultation. She's going to give it to you totally free. Tell her you saw her on the Marshall Silver Live broadcast. The first 5 people that contact her will get that totally free. You got to do it. If you want to know more about AI and how to apply it in your business, that's the place to go. Felicia, thanks for being on the show. God bless. I'm really excited to catch up with you off the air and find out what's going on with you guys, and I'll see you real soon.
Thank you, Marshall. My love to the family. God bless.
You are loved. Bye for now. Hey, what a great show. We're having so much fun. If you haven't marked your calendar yet, you should. We have Turning Point coming up here at Studio Money. Coming up February 18, 19, and a half day on the 20th. Just enough to change your life forever. Tickets are normally $3,000 a piece. If you have a ticket, make sure you get a reservation in. Going to be a big event, making lots of really cool announcements. If you don't have a ticket, they're $3,000 a piece. You can buy them at silver.com, or you just call in. Ask me a question tomorrow. Tomorrow's show is a great one. Bulls and bears. What should you be investing in today? On tomorrow's show, tomorrow's edition of Marshall Silver Live, Troy Fullwood will be with us discussing what you should be investing in and what you should be avoiding in 2026. So you're going to want to see that show. Plus, we'll be taking your calls right here and giving away cash as well as tickets to Turning Point. Tomorrow, Troy Fullwood discussing Bulls and Bears for 26. Be here or be square. I'm Marshall Silver. You are totally loved. We'll see you on tomorrow's show.